And here we go. We are live. And hello, everybody. It's Skip Clark, the Skip Happens podcast. We got another great podcast for you tonight, and I think you're going to love these guys. Muscadine Bloodline. Hopefully I said that right. That's who is joining us. And they've got a very unique story, and they're doing a lot, if not everything, on their own. As a matter of fact, I'm going to fade out of that, and I'm going to do a little bit of this. So just stay right there so y'all can get an idea what these guys sound like. Here we go. So here we go.
My baby, she's a fussing and a cussing as I'm packing the truck. I ain't working for a daddy and a mama thinks I need to grow up. Yeah, singing the songs is like slanging a drug. Call it contraband, can't get enough of this. Granted, dying for a living, probably gonna kill me, but kill me if I didn't. It's a fix of my addiction, it's a sin of my religion. It is what it is, and it ain't what it is. But I'm a honky-tonky dead man walking, never quitting. Dying for a living, yeah.
You know, I don't want to stop that. That is so awesome. Wait a minute, here we go. Hang on, here we go.
Well, the rowdy little rodeo queens are strutting, cutting the run.
We need more of this, by the way.
Hey, it's coming.
Wow, it's called Dying for a Living, and there it is. And at Muscadine Bloodline, who's doing that, and that's who you're looking at right now on the screen. We got Charlie, which, if you're looking at your screen, is on your left, and, of course, Gary on the right. How you guys doing?
Doing good, Skip. Thanks for having us, man.
Absolutely, man. I can't wait to dig into this a little bit. Your story is really unique. And as I read your bios, proudly independent. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. So when we first started out, you know, we kind of always just had the mindset of like, hey, let's just pretend we're never going to get signed and see what happens. And here we are still today, and we're just making it happen. And we've built something really cool and something that we're really proud of. And, you know, it's not saying that a deal or whatever is never on the horizon, but I will say that we're pretty happy with where we are, and we believe in ourselves and where we're going. And so, you know, it's just kind of fun to just wear that badge and just believe in yourself and make it happen.
Yeah. Whereabouts are you right now? Where are you? Describe your surroundings a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we're both from Mobile, Alabama. So, like, we call it the tailpipe of Alabama, that little part that juts out at the bottom.
Yes.
Where we're from. And so, but we now live in Nashville. We've been here for about 6 years. And so, yeah, we've been here. We're not roommates anymore. We were roommates living together, in business together, and stuff like that. We're married men now.
Bought houses separately.
Yeah. So
really.
So we're doing great. So.
Do you guys still get together and hang though a lot? I mean, when you're not performing?
Pretty good bit. Yeah. It's you know, after 6 years, you're not tired of each other. So it's like, I think
that's a good thing.
I think we're through the tough stuff.
Yeah. You said you're in Nashville right now. Excuse me. You're in Nashville.
Yes, sir.
Wow, that city's it's got a lot going on right now with the CMA Awards coming up here tomorrow night. And I know the partner that I normally do the podcast with, Deb Lanfear, she is the president and founder of the official country music fan club. She's actually working the CMAs. So she's
great.
there for the next at least week, and I'm stuck back here in the Northeast. So
well, it sounds like you got the wrong end of the stick on that one.
I'm laying low. No,
hey,
exactly. I texted her the other day and I said, I so hate you right now. I just so hate you. What's it like to be in Nashville when all this is going on? Is it crazy?
Man, it's not as crazy as you think.
Yeah.
You know, being independent, Gary and I, we kind of stay away from the hustle and bustle of it all, man. We really just kind of stay in our own little bubble and just make it happen, man. It's very rare. The last time we went into town, well, ironically, was recently, but the last time before that was like, I can't even remember the last time, you know?
Yeah, that we went down on like 16th Avenue and, you know, down Music Row and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, I've heard it's a cool thing. We've actually never been, but it's cool to see. We got some friends that are, you know, nominated for things and get to go. And so it's really cool to champion those guys and cheer them on. And, it's cool to see like people that you're peers with and came through the ranks.
Right. Exactly.
And they're getting, you know, Luke Combs getting nominated for everything.
How
and
cool
is
that? Yeah.
And then all the guys songwriting with them that are your good buddies. It's like, it's really cool to see those guys be successful.
Do you get down obviously you don't go to Broadway much, and I don't blame you. I'm just saying. I mean, you know, I'm there once or twice a year while the pandemic kind of put it off a little bit. And as you can see, I'm sitting home now. But Broadway, you know, it's cool the first couple of times. It's like, all right, I got to see what this place is all about.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I don't mean this in a bad way. It's a cool thing to see, and it's really cool to do and hit up the bars and Tootsie's, and you know, you got Jack's Barbecue and you got all those places down there. But then it's like, okay, everybody else is coming here too. I don't want to be here.
It's a bit overwhelming at times.
Yeah.
I totally understand the appeal. Like it is fun to go and like you have friends in town, bring them down and show them the whole deal. But other than that, man, it's hard to hang down there.
Surprisingly, this is funny, Skip. I was actually down. We had a buddy. They were playing a show down there at what is it? What's Blake Shelton's one's called?
Old Red.
Yeah. Old Red.
Old Red. That's right. Yep. I was going to say Big Red or something quicker.
Well, we know it's a red something.
Yeah, red something. But yeah, I went down there, and that was the first time I think I'd been on Broadway in probably 2 years. So it was funny that I went last week to go check their band out and go. My wife kind of coaxed me into going, so it was one of those things. But it's cool. Yeah, I mean, you're right. We don't. Once you live here, you're kind of like try to stay away. But it's like it is a fun thing if you're coming up for like a bachelor trip, or like Charlie said, your friends coming into town.
Right. Got to show them around, man. You got to show them around. That's what it's about. Exactly. What? How long have you guys you've been together? 6 years?
Yeah, we've been. Well, December will be like officially 6 years of Muscadine Bloodline, but I mean, we've known each other now for probably close to 7.5 years, I would say.
And how did you guys get together? Was it music?
Yeah, it was. Charlie and I had separate bands, and we were kind of doing the bar gig thing and playing frat shows and, you know, just whatever we could play to make money, make ends meet, and in our prospective college towns. I went to school at Southern Miss in Mississippi.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so basically Charlie did a show every December in Mobile, like a before Christmas party kind of thing, and everyone would come out, and my name just got thrown in a hat to come open for him. And we had a bunch of mutual friends, and we actually, the first night we ever met, we were playing on the same show together. And so,
very cool.
Cool. So it's always been music for us.
Now, being an independent like you are, you make all your own decisions. I know you have a manager. Of course, everybody's got, when you get to be where you are, you have to have a manager, somebody to help keep everything on the straight and narrow and kind of keep you guys moving forward. But I know he's over there laughing, going, this guy has no idea what he's talking about.
He just hit the dab.
He did this. That's me.
I love it. I love it. But it's kind of cool. So do you guys, do you write all your own stuff or what?
Yeah, I mean, that's the most important thing to us is we're songwriters first. And, you know, that's always kind of what we wanted to hang our hat on. And, you know, the only way for us to kind of be different is really a lot of times Charlie and I just write by ourselves, and we have a kind of a close knit group of guys that they're our go-tos. And honestly, now that we kind of just write for records now. So it's, you know, our goal after, you know, this record and our last record, after we've, you know, tasted putting out a whole body of work together, it's kind of like, well, let's just write for records. And so Nashville kind of has a thing where they just want to write hit songs every day. And I feel like there's a lot of people missing the mark sometimes on, you know, what about those album cuts that people really loved, or, you know, give them something with some depth, or, you know, talk about
right.
you want to talk about, not just what you think the listener wants to hear all the time. So, that's been kind of, you know, what we've been sort of burdened with here of late. And it's made it awesome too, because I feel like we've become better songwriters because we're just writing for a project now.
Sure.
Of just going in aimlessly trying to write songs. And we did that for a long time. For about 3 years, we had a publishing deal and did that. And it was great for us. We got a lot of reps, and we became better songwriters there too. And it's just kind of like, for Muscadine, we just want to write Muscadine Bloodline songs. And the best way to write Muscadine Bloodline songs is when Muscadine Bloodline writes them.
Okay, so I got to ask, how the name Muscadine Bloodline? What's that all about?
Yeah, so if you know what a muscadine is, it's a grape. And
okay,
it's grown in the South, and it's supposed to be like a sweeter grape than like your normal, you know, run of the mill grape that was grown out in like California and stuff like that. And it was kind of a thing to drink muscadine wine growing up, you know, and and we wanted a name that rhymed, and we landed on Muscadine first, and then we were like, Bloodline, that sounds cool. You know, it's like we treat that as like your heritage, where you come from. Muscadine Bloodline looks cool on a flyer. And you know, so here we are. You know, all band names suck unless the band's good. So like, we're still working it out. You know, everybody seems to like it. We haven't had anybody tell us the name sucks yet. So.
Well, I got to tell you, from my perspective, when they first approached me about Muscadine Bloodline, I went, "What?" Yeah. So you know what? That forced me to check it out. I got it. What is this all about? So once we checked it out, I went, "This is cool." And you guys were like most added when it came to one of the Music Road chart. I think one week it was you guys right at the top, most added. So you know your song rocks, and it's going to get played on the radio. And as I said earlier, we need more of that. Now I listened to some of your other stuff too. I think everything's a hit. I can't understand why we haven't heard more about you.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I think it's just a product of our situation. You know, when you don't have a big machine behind you, it takes a little longer for that, you know, for everyone to get a piece of it. And it's kind of cool because we've got to watch it just kind of gradually grow as, you know, we've gotten, you know, more and more into this. And it's cool to kind of be the band where like someone could be at a party and they're like, "Hey, have you ever heard of these guys?" And a lot of people might haven't. And they're like, then they come to the next show, and then those people are bringing their friends, and it's just all word of mouth.
It's truly like the epitome of grassroots. You know, it just takes a little longer, but the roots are strong. You know, and
I know. I was looking up. You know, now that I know your music a little bit, I'm like, I wonder if they're going to be playing anywhere near the Northeast. So I was looking. I said it's not really that close, but if there was, I'd be making the drive because that music's awesome, dude. It's awesome.
We've been to New York a few times. We haven't been here in the last couple years, but you're in Syracuse, correct?
Yeah, we're in upstate Syracuse.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, how close is that to Buffalo? Is it?
It's about 2.5 hours. We're right in the center of the state. Buffalo is one way, Albany is the other way, and that's what's great for artists like you. If you're going to make a run, let's say a radio tour, or maybe you're doing shows, you can do the New York State Thruway, and you get Buffalo, you get Syracuse, you get Albany. You know, you can knock off 3 major markets.
Yeah, no doubt.
One sweep, easy.
Yeah, hopefully we can make it up that way, man. We'd love to meet you.
Yeah, no, well, same here. Feelings mutual. Love to have you guys come up. Are you hitting the road at all? Are you going to be doing any radio tours or anything like that?
We tour pretty extensively. We kind of, that's where it's all starts with us is the touring. And honestly, since COVID or whatever, we had the year off, but before COVID, it was pretty much, besides holidays and birthdays, we were on the road, you know, every weekend. And so, but we're kind of, as we're growing, we're kind of like dialing back as much as we're playing to really focus on records and other things. And a lot of people don't realize it's not just we go out there and play shows. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff you got to take care of, and it's a business. And so it's been fun to kind of, you know, we've had a little more off time. We're actually off this weekend, but then we head out west. We're in South Dakota, Utah, Colorado, and Las Vegas.
Do you fly it, bus it, or do you got to drive your own vehicle?
So fortunately, this run, we're actually busing this one. So and it's our first time actually in a bus. So it'll be kind of nice. I don't want to get tainted with that because we're going to be back in the van the next week.
You're going to get spoiled, dude.
Yeah, I know it. But we were like, man, like we're going to kill ourselves if we try to drive to Deadwood, South Dakota and do that. And it'd just be a nightmare. And we'd rather enjoy the shows and be rested. And then we head up to we're in Chicago, Pittsburgh.
Sweet.
I can't remember Kentucky and
Ohio.
Yeah. So
now, is this a tour with a major artist or?
No, it's our own tour.
It's just your own. That's awesome.
Ironically, the next 4 dates are with Co Wetzel, one of our good buddies.
Okay.
And after that, though, those are arguably, I think they're the only support dates we've done this year, besides some festival dates. But for the most part, man, we like to just headline our own shows. You know, it's
cool.
If you're lucky enough to have a good fan base like us and be able to just headline and hit the road, it's a lot more lucrative, and we feel like you get a lot more out of it if you can go sing. I'd rather sing to 500 people that are there to see you than 3,000 people who are just don't really know you, you know?
Right. Well, with a name like Muscadine Bloodline, I mean, you got to have a great fan base. Seriously. I mean, I'm going back to what I was saying a few minutes ago. That's a name that caught my attention. It's like, what are these guys all about? This is cool. This is cool. That's the way I look at it. It's cool.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate it, man. We think it's cool too. So,
well, let's hope. So, do you take the fam? Do you take the wife with you when you hit the road?
Rarely. Yeah. I will say the wives fly out to like the good gigs. You know, they fly out to the real nice bougie ones. You know,
they
come to like Atlanta when we play the Roxy. You know,
nice
to Vegas and when we play Vegas, so they come to they hit the high spots.
They pick and choose, but they ain't showing up to Medina, Ohio, or whatever. So.
Yeah, they hit the high spots for sure.
So, I mean, you've played Vegas. How long ago was that?
The last time we played Vegas was the Route 91 festival.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that the year that it all went down?
It was.
It was. We were there. We played that day.
Dude, wow.
Wow. Very interesting experience in Vegas for sure.
Yeah. Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Wow. No, I know how many people do. I mean, we haven't really talked about it, and it's just kind of.
I get you.
It's one of those things. It was crazy, and it was so sad, and so it was cool to see though country music kind of rallied together and.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Awesome to see that.
It shows what a tight knit community we are.
It is.
It's country 100%. Music, whether it's artist or somebody doing what I do, we all come together in time of need.
100%,
absolutely.
Were you there when all that went down?
Yeah.
I mean, actually there, and you said you performed. Wow.
Yeah. We were walking out to front of house to kind of watch the show, and it all started happening, and took a minute for us to realize what was going on. You know, we thought it was just some pyrotechnics or something happening.
Yeah.
And it all kind of set in pretty quick, and everybody started running.
Yeah.
I was watching it here in the Northeast, as on the news and all that, and I just like, wow, just can't even imagine. Well, thank God you're okay. I know, we did lose a lot of individuals in that.
Right. No doubt.
That situation. Wow, totally blew my mind when you told me that, because it's something that it's always up here, because we work a lot of shows, and I'm on stage a lot doing a lot of the presents for the radio station, and myself as Skip Happens and the podcast and stuff like that. And you always think in this day and age, man, you're always taking a chance. Yeah,
I mean, we definitely after that. I mean, it was definitely life changing, and kind of safety is most important. I mean, even in this pandemic and stuff, like we're doing everything we can to just play shows. All we want to do is play shows.
Absolutely.
Like, it's kind of like it's a tough thing. It's a tough juxtaposition to be in, and so it's a weird thing. But safety is super important, and we have a tour manager who kind of goes over a security meeting with if there's security at the shows we play. Sometimes we play some honky tonks, and old Bubba's up there. I mean, he's probably carrying though, so I ain't too worried. But yeah, so it's
yeah, exactly. What about the you mentioned the pandemic a few times. I know we ask a lot of artists this same question, and I'm sure that you've been asked it a lot. How did all that work out for you? Did everything come to a halt, or were you able still to get together and do your writing and stuff like that?
Man, in the beginning, like I think everyone just kind of thought, oh, this is going to blow over. We're canceling a few weeks of shows here, and we didn't really even decide anything to like pivot on. We were just like, we're just going to cancel a couple weeks. Everything's going to be fine. It's about to get hot. Like that's what everybody kept telling us. And, after I will say, after the first 2 or 3, 4 weeks started getting canceled, Gary and I actually like quarantined for a couple months away from each other. And that's when we recorded a little EP on our iPhones. That's another story. But, and then like after a while, like Gary and I were like, okay, we've been quarantined, so we're about to just get up and do whatever. So we got up and hung out and spent some time and wrote a lot of songs. And it really just allowed us to be creative. Our music, performing music really was taken away from us. And so the only thing that we have ever been able to do is just pivot and just say, hey, how can we make money? How can we keep our business alive during this pandemic? And all we did was write music and put out music.
Yeah. And try to keep a fan base happy. Music is one of those things that's really cool. Is like, we got a job where like, it doesn't matter, your sexual orientation, creed, color, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Our job is to take people away from that and just have a good time. Like, let's set this all aside. We're going to get up together for a couple hours, have an awesome night. And so that was what basically, like what Charlie said, is we just put out a ton of music and just did some kind of interesting projects and that kind of thing, to where being independent was honestly awesome. And during that time, because we could pull whatever trigger we really wanted to and do whatever we want, put out as much music. We weren't in line with, you know, other label mates or whatever to try to put out stuff. And so it really, honestly, it kind of helped us grow. And then we got to see the, you know, that work we put in during the pandemic. When we came back on the road, you know, this March, you know, we were showing up to places we'd never been to, and there was a lot of people coming, and we were like, dang, this is crazy. You're showing up to, you know, Oklahoma City headlining for the first time, and you're selling out a 1,200 cap venue. Like, this is crazy. So it's like, that stuff is really cool. And so we were very blessed in that situation, that we weren't just sitting around twiddling our thumbs, hoping shows come out. Right. We were just like, hey, well, this is the reality of what's going on, and we just got to figure it out.
It sounds like you did. And were you able to do any like Facebook lives, or do, you know, like a lot of other artists get on there and they do their little thing and maybe a 30-minute acoustic set or something?
We did a few. We were kind of like, at first we were like, man, we can put out music, and this is actually something you can monetize, and not to be like, but it's like we could keep the ball rolling. Sure. And like, once everyone was doing the live thing, I remember getting on Instagram and it'd be like 7 of the musicians you follow are on live right now. And so it's just like, it kind of got oversaturated a little bit, I feel like. And I was just like, well, what's another way we can attack this, you know, differently and stay, you know, relevant? That was really the battle of 2020, was like the war of attrition and staying relevant and being in people's faces and without annoying them.
All right. You mentioned it earlier, though. It kind of helped you even be more creative.
Yeah.
You had to think more. You had to work more. But it's all good stuff that came out of that. Charlie, put your arm up again. Was that a good? What's the bottom tattoo? Look at that.
Oh, it's a skyline and a guitar.
Love it. Love it. Is that the Nashville skyline?
No, it's Mobile, Alabama. It's just not as glorious, you know.
Well, I was looking for the you know, the AT&T building. So
yeah, there's like 3 buildings in Mobile over like 13 stories. So
I always make the joke, because everyone always asks, is that the city that I'm in at the current time? You know, like wherever I'm at, they're like, oh, is that Pittsburgh? That's cool, man. And I'm like, I just go with it. I'm like, yeah, man, love those Steelers.
Yeah, like you hit somebody's cities and you change your tattoo every week.
Yeah.
Like,
is that LA? Yeah, it's LA, man. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, you like it?
Most people don't know where Mobile is, so it's like half the time it's like an Uber ride. You know, it's like, it's really not worth explaining. Just be like, yeah, just give a little fib, you know, give a little white lie.
Gary, you said you were out deer hunting today.
Yeah, I was, man. Yeah, it was fun.
Not good. It was fun or not good?
I mean, I had a good time, but you know, I had to track a deer down, and I ended up losing the trail after being out there for 12 hours.
Yeesh.
Yeah, it is I mean, it's just part of it, you know. That's why it's called hunting, not killing. And so,
I know, and it's bow, right? We talked about
bow hunting. Yeah. So we both like to get outdoors when we can, and we had the week off. Charlie was actually in Florida for a wedding this week, so
nice.
I was like, all right, well, I'll go get in the woods.
So you were tracking it down and you lost it. So you must have hit it.
Yeah, I hit it for sure.
But you lost it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go out there tomorrow.
That deer was fast, man.
Yeah,
he was fast. Gary couldn't get you.
I did my due diligence, and I'm gonna go out there tomorrow and try again. So you know, you feel bad because you don't want to harvest something for no reason. You know,
right. No, I get it.
Freezer and stuff like that. So just I'm gonna do my due diligence, try to be a good steward.
Yeah, nothing like a good venison roast.
Yeah, 100%.
Nice little backstrap.
Yeah, you got that.
Good
stuff. Got that. Yeah. I don't hunt, but my all my brother-in-laws do, and a lot of my good friends do. So it's like, dude, come on over. We're gonna cook up some venison.
Yeah,
heck yeah, bring it on over.
Yeah, I love sharing. I love when you got it and you can fill up the deep freeze and give it to all your buddies and.
Oh yeah,
I have a story to tell people.
Oh, yeah. What do you guys? What else do you do for fun? Do you follow sports at all?
Yeah, man, we're huge sports fans. Man, for me especially, like no matter what, usually every day I'm usually watching a little something, like a little football, a little right now, NCAA started back today, basketball and baseball just got done. We're Braves fans, so we're pretty happy about that World Series. And college football fans. I mean, there's fall is one of the best times in the world for sports, you know, because you got NFL, you got college football, college basketball, you got hockey going, you got it's all happening in the fall.
And in the last couple of weeks, everything's been overlapping because, like you say, baseball was wrapping up with the series with the Braves and the Astros, and then you got hockey starting. I know here in Syracuse, the Orange basketball team starts tonight. Or they've already started. And from what I understand, I can hear my wife upstairs cheering already. So they must be winning. So
yeah, my wife pulled me aside the other day and she was like, hey, can we not watch sports tonight? And I was like, oh yeah, you know what? We should probably watch something else. Let's watch something else. There's a lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, we're big baseball fans here, but we're the Mets and the Nationals. But I have to say, we were rooting for the Astros. No, for the Braves.
I was like, dang.
No, dude. The only reason I'm saying that is because I was thinking of Dusty. I love Dusty Baker. Yeah, and I felt so bad for him.
Class act. He's arguably one of the best managers that's ever done.
Absolutely.
And he's old school baseball. He's like really him, and I feel like the Braves guys, Snicker. He's like they're the old school. That's that last remnant of old school baseball.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, totally. Yeah, we're big into baseball, and I used to play hockey growing up, so it's kind of crazy.
We didn't have that where we were from. We've seen snow one time in Mobile, and I wouldn't even count it as snow. It's probably like sleet, honestly.
Yeah, just a little ice.
Just a little ice, a little dusting. Yeah. That's all. Well, come up here in the middle of January and we'll show you snow.
Man, I wouldn't know how to drive there. So I don't know.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. We were in Flint, Michigan playing one time and a blizzard happened. And we were like, none of the guys who drive in our group, most of our crew is from South Alabama and Florida, so we didn't know how to drive in the stuff. So we were probably going, everyone was honking at us. We were going 20 miles an hour down the interstate, freaking out.
Well, let me put it this way. We'll get back to talking music, but we'll get a foot of snow overnight, and the kids are still getting picked up for school.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's still going to work. It's like, it snowed last night.
Oh, you guys would laugh at us because, we get maybe 5 inches at the most in Nashville, and it's like,
oh yeah,
the world just shuts down for a couple of days.
Oh yeah, no, I've been in Nashville. I can tell you a quick story, and I've told other people this, that I've been in Nashville, and I was staying at the Hilton downtown, and I remember the radio went on as my alarm, and they were talking about school closings. I'm going, holy shit, it must have snowed. Geez. So I opened up the curtain, and I'm like, I still see the grass. I don't see anything out there, but apparently the roads were a little bit icy and they only have like 3 trucks to take care of those.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like far enough south where I'm sure the city doesn't have it in their budget to like have a bunch of salt laying around. You know? So they're just like, well, if it happens, it's just gonna be weird for a few days.
Better have 4-wheel drive.
That's what happens.
There you go. Tell me about being on stage at the Grand Ole Opry. I was reading that you got a standing ovation. It was back in 2018. That must have been a memory that'll last for a lifetime.
Yeah, it was for sure, man. That you said 2018, and that feels like 10 years ago for some weird reason. But yeah, that was one of those moments where, you look forward to in your career and you finally had the opportunity come to fruition. And it was just kind of like a blur, everything leading up to it is like, okay, we're rehearsing backstage. We're rehearsing with the house band at the Opry. We're hanging out with our family and and it's just like, it feels like another gig for a while. And then you finally step in that circle and just something magical happens and it just kind of takes a hold of you. And it was a special night. It definitely is a top of my, career bucket list type of things that have happened so far.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
And to be honest, when we got done playing, Gary and I were just like, hey, thank you guys. And we started walking off the stage and Bill Cody, he stopped us and he was like, hey man, he's like, where y'all going? Yeah, get back out here. And everybody was standing up and he made us soak it in. Like we were kind of leaving and we were just like, thanks. And we were just walking off and
get us off here.
Yeah. And he pulled us back on stage and like threw us back in the circle and everybody was up on their feet.
Dude, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
We could hear our parents specifically just yelling over everybody, and so it was a special night, man. There was some tears shed for sure.
Yeah. So talking about your parents, I mean, obviously they're pretty proud of what you guys, both of you, have accomplished. I mean, they support you.
We got awesome supportive parents, and you know, it's cool. They come out to shows and they get to enjoy, you know, they get to enjoy it now, and it's really cool to see. They're just so amazed that they'll show up to a town we're in, and we're like, dude, these people here like adore our sons. Like, this is kind of strange, but really cool. And so it's awesome. Both of our parents are, you know, our sets of our parents are just, you know, super supportive of us. Always have kind of told us, hey, go, you know, if you want to chase a dream, gonna have to figure it out. You know, my dad works on air conditioners, so he's like, I mean, that's what you want to do. Like, go ahead and, you know, have a field day. You just gonna have to figure it out. So, but they instilled, you know, both of us just to work hard and just keep your nose down. And,
Are you like both of you? I know separate families, of course, but do you have brothers, siblings that are musicians at all or anything like that?
My whole family kind of grew up singing. Like I've got 5 sisters, and they all sing. My dad sings in the choir and stuff like that. My sister, ironically, just now, my closest sister, she's always sang and has always wanted to sing. And she's way better singer than I am. And she's just now kind of starting to play some cover gigs and get out of her comfort zone a little bit. She's been just a waitress for a long time, and she's kind of seen me kind of blossom and do my thing. And so I'm proud of her for kind of, you know, stepping out of her shell, and she's doing the same thing I was doing 6 years ago now, which is kind of cool to watch.
Do you ever think about bringing her on stage with you?
I told her the next time we play a Soul Kitchen, I said, we're going to have to figure something out and have you out open up.
That's so awesome.
Do some 3-part harmony or something. Exactly. Yeah. She can sing it. So I'm glad Charlie let me be in a band instead of her, because they'd have had a brother-sister duo, and then they'd probably be nominated for Duo of the Year or something like that.
Something like duo was just destiny for me. I don't know why.
But my dad is a huge music connoisseur. But my dad doesn't play. My mom doesn't play. I had a grandmother who played piano, and she was kind of the catalyst for, you know, for me to start taking guitar lessons and that kind of thing. And so, but no one else does. My brother's a baseball coach, and, you know,
awesome.
Kind of like, they just kind of hang, you know, just do their thing.
So the single "Dying for a Living," tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, man. So, you know, it kind of explains itself. You know, it's just rowdy as hell, and it's just like Leonard Skinner meets John Michael Montgomery, and it's just this bombastic, just we call it cocaine country. You know, it's just like you just took a big old hit of life, and you're just listening to this music, and you just can't stop. And it's one of those things, when we start playing it live, we can see everybody feeding off of it. It's like everybody did a hit of cocaine, but, you know, they didn't. But
yeah, it gets wild, and it's fun. We've always, like, honestly, this record is a lot of growth for us, but it's honestly kind of took us back to kind of where our roots, what we loved about, you know, that 90s era of country and that kind of thing. And it's like, we kind of had an epiphany where we were like, you know, like, if this is the music we're listening to and we're going down the road, and this is who we love and always go back to, why aren't we making this? Why are we trying to fit a mold that is, you know, it's got to be this to maybe go to country radio or something like that.
Or to maybe get on some playlist.
Yeah, and so it's like, no, let's just go out and just do the music we love. And it's the most authentic, you know, we feel like we've ever, you know, been when it comes to the music we make. Not to discredit anything we've done in the past. I mean, that's us too. But this record upcoming is like, for the first time, I feel like it's something like really, really special. And it's kind of like the turning of the page to, you know, what's to come from us. We're kind of found where we want to be and where we want to live in the realm of country music. But yeah, we wrote that song with our good buddy Jordan Fletcher, and it was just kind of a
cool.
Charlie had the title for "Dying for a Living," and we were like, well, let's make it fast. And then we went in the studio and said, let's make it faster. And it was just kind of like, you know,
it somehow turned out to be less than 3 minutes, like 2 minutes and 20 seconds or whatever.
So but that's okay.
Yeah, it's fun to play. It's fun to play live. Like, honestly, we're getting to the point, like, we just love the song so much where it's at like halfway through our set, and we're just like, okay, we got to get to this point. And so we've actually kind of toyed with starting the show with that the last few weeks we've been on the road, and it kind of kicks it off in a pretty rowdy way, kind of sets the tone for the whole show.
describe one of your shows. Is it rowdy for the whole thing, or do you bring it down a little bit?
Man, it's a journey. You know, I wouldn't say that it's 100% just rowdy the entire time. We like to take it through a dynamic, you know, and like ride the wave, because we've got a lot of slow songs too that like our fans love and we love, you know. So it's like a lot of times we just kind of just ride the wave, and sometimes we'll start the show acoustic, and sometimes we'll start the show with a slow song, but we always we have this weird thing where we can't keep it at one level too long. You know, we always got to bring it down or bring it up. We can't just let it ride like this. That's when it starts to get kind of boring.
Yeah, it's fun to kind of put a show together, and that's kind of what Charlie and I really that's what we take pride in, is playing a good show, because we're playing clubs and we don't have, you know, pyrotechnics and big light shows. It's just so you got a job to do, and that's keep everyone's attention for 75 to 90 minutes a night. And so tailoring a set that can really, you know, do that is a really cool thing, and to see people. So we love our set right now. We've been throwing in some old like Shenandoah and stuff.
I was going to ask what other stuff you do, like a Shenandoah, or
like we've been doing that. We've been doing we've been doing Rocky Mountain Way by Joe Walsh.
Oh wow.
And what else? We've done Don Williams, Tulsa Time, and I can't even. We don't play, honestly, we play like 3 covers, and we kind of do it like in a medley, and then the rest of them we just play our stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Is there somebody that you would love that if you had the opportunity to be on stage with, to open up for, or is there somebody that it's like on your bucket list? If we could only be on stage with Brooks and Dunn, or if we could only be on stage with whoever.
I'll tell you one that I feel like is attainable. You know, I feel like Stapleton. Like I feel like some weird reason one day like it's possible. You know, I just feel like a chance. You know, like Stapleton, Eric Church. You know, all those guys that are just trendsetters, man. They're not.
Oh, absolutely.
They're not just. They're in their own lane. They're doing their own thing. No one will ever be able to be recreated. You know, and that's what we strive for as artists. And so we look up to artists like that, and that's why, you know, we'd want to play in front of artists like that.
Yeah. And if listeners only knew how many songs that Stapleton has had a part in writing up until he started performing, I mean, you'd be amazed.
Oh, it's crazy to see his discography of like all the songs he's written.
That's one of the coolest things about Nashville to me personally, is like every artist has their own train track they're riding. You know, like nobody's way to the top is exactly the same. You know, and so that's why a lot of artists get discouraged or saying, hey, why don't I have this like this artist does, or that and this and that. I mean, Chris Stapleton was in Nashville for, God, it feels like 30 years before anything happened for him, you know, on a fame level or whatever. And so a lot of times it's just like, that's one of the beautiful things about Nashville, you know, as many downsides as I think there are to it. That's one of the most beautiful things, is just everybody's got their own way of figuring it out. And it's, you know, you're either going to figure it out or not.
What would you say is some of the biggest obstacles you guys have had to get over?
I think one of them mainly, first off, I think one at a human level is like being in a duo. Number one, is like you got to check your ego every day. And yeah, we're doing this, and like we're like brothers. Like I love Charlie to death, and it's reciprocated. But learning how to do that, you know, put your fate in someone else's hands and hit his and mine is that was the number one, you know, hurdle.
It's a learning experience.
And so and it's great, you know, and it's always been great. We work like yin and yang. We're totally different guys, personality wise, but it works perfectly. So
that's why it works.
Yeah, 100%. And so
we always say too, like just communicating in any relationship in general, you know, like it's taught us a lot about, you know, being married, you know, like we've learned a lot of communication lessons, and just learning life together with somebody you love, your buddy or your wife. That's one of the most beautiful things. And and that's one, I mean, like you said, it's like, it's an obstacle, I guess, but it's a good one to figure out.
Yeah. But on a business level, I would say, I mean, the biggest obstacle for us is just, you know, how do you stay relevant when you're competing with, and I shouldn't say it's not a competition, because like Charlie said, everyone's running their race, but it's like, there's a lot of people listening to music, and country music especially, and you're fighting for shelf space, and we kind of have an uphill battle, because, we don't have a team pushing our stuff. We're not, on, the iHeartRadio playlist or, whatever it is, or, we have to figure out where we can thrive. And so
we have to figure out a more strategic route. It's like, how do we get our name, Muscadine Bloodline, in front of the most faces possible instead of having, our team is great, but having a Sony or a Warner or whatever plasters your name everywhere, which definitely has some benefits to it. But, like we said earlier, we wouldn't have it any other way. It's like, it's more fun figuring it the hell out and just doing it your way. And
that's a hurdle too. It's just really figuring it out. Like, we've done every part of our job. Like, that entails us, like, we've been booking agents. We've cold called places to help play, and
we've shipped.
We're the ones packing the T-shirts, and we've done that. And economy of scale. You get to a point where it's like, okay, it's getting too much where we got to hire somebody else to do this and that sort of thing. So I'd say for us, that's the biggest hurdle. We're learning that stuff every day, and we're gonna have another hurdle tomorrow that we're gonna have to figure out. But we're gonna figure it out.
You will. I could tell you will. Absolutely. Was it when you made that trip to Nashville? Was it were you like nervous at first? Like, what are we doing? Is this going to work? Or
man, it sounds kind of arrogant, but no. Gary and I have always believed that we could get this far. We've always believed that we can get twice this far and 3 times this far. We've never come up here with the mindset of like, man, like, all right, what's plan B just in case? We've never had a plan B. It's like, if you got a plan B, your plan A probably ain't very good, or it ain't gonna work out.
Yeah, right. You have confidence in yourselves.
Exactly.
And you need that. It's nothing to do with ego. It's believing in yourself that you can do it. And if you believe in yourself, I believe you can do it. So.
Yeah. I mean, we're just go-getters, man. At the end of the day, like, we see something that we want to do and we make it happen. It's simple as that, and not everybody has those attributes. And that's something the good Lord bless us with. It's a huge advantage for us. It's like, if we see something and we want to go get it, we know for damn sure we could go get it.
Yeah. And I mean, we're pretty, like, we're stubborn in the ways we kind of know how we want to navigate through this business on what we want to do. So in that sense, it's kind of stubborn, but it's also too, it's like, we want to do it a certain way. And there's just stuff that Charlie and I aren't willing to do that, being famous really, like, doesn't, I mean, this sounds like a cop out, but that's not the goal here. The goal here is just to make a good living doing exactly what you want. And that's really
the dream, right? That's
just you took the words right out of my mouth.
That's really all we want. Like, we always tell this too, is like, we're content with where things are, but it's just, we're just driven guys that we want to keep going.
Well, you're doing very well. So,
thanks, Skip. We appreciate it. And so it's just like, at that point, it's like, it makes it to where if you're content, you're always kind of happy, like, with where you're at. We could sit and complain about, man, we're not here, we're not this, or this show isn't selling out. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, hey, it's going to come. It's just ain't our time. And we're just going to keep our head down and keep working.
Just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep going on.
That's what we've done from day one. And that's what we're going to have to just keep doing.
You guys are awesome. It's so good to catch up with you and to get to know you a little bit. Just in the way you think about what you're doing. I mean, you're right. You don't have those egos. You're just pursuing your dream. You're just trying to, this is your job, so to speak. This is, and you love what you do.
Yeah,
for sure, man. The ego just steals your happiness, So if everybody has their moments, you think like, oh man, like you just got to catch yourself and think like, well, this is just stealing my joy, and this is taking the happiness out of the dream that we get to live every day.
Yeah.
Tell me about your band a little bit.
Yeah, we got a pretty good group of guys that we're with that are super talented. They've been with us for a long time, and they're actually the guys playing on the record. So we actually took our touring band, and our touring band's the one playing this record. So we've always kind of thought, like I said, we've always tried to hang our hat on being a really good live band, and we just always wanted the record to really reciprocate that. And it was the first time we did it on this whole record. Was like, you know what, like, let's just have these guys in it. They're going to love it more to play songs that they played on live. And like, they're creating the parts and that sort of thing. So
I love that.
we're really blessed in it. They you know, they're awesome, and they put up with a lot of crap with Charlie and I. You know, we're 8 deep in a van right now, and it's, you know, we wish we could get them to get on a bus and do that. We're just not quite there yet, but they're along for the journey, and they're in for the long run, and we hope to be playing with these guys for, you know, for 20, 30 years.
Will they be on the bus when you go on this tour?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
They're all going to be a little spoiled.
They're not following you in the 40 Econoline van.
No, heck no. We wouldn't do that to them.
But towing the trailer down the road.
We ain't that big of divas.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome that you got a band like that, because we hear so often that when these guys go into the studio, they're all studio musicians.
Yeah.
As opposed to having that.
And those guys kill it. But I think if you want your stamp of like your own thing, it's kind of like, and you want to set yourself apart, you know, for better or for worse. Like there's cool things in this record where it's like, you know, we're playing a lot of the guitar on it. You know, there's, you know, not a single song on there that Charlie and I aren't playing something on it, and having our guys playing on it, this beauty and like the mistakes even too, that are kind of like, hey, this is just so raw, it's real, and it's, you know, this is how we want to be conveyed, is raw and real.
Yeah. What's the craziest thing that ever happened to you on stage?
Man, I don't know.
That's crazy.
It's gotta be something.
I mean, we've had some, for some reason we have quite a bit of fights, surprisingly, at our shows. Like and it's always
engagement.
Yeah, fights and engagements. It's weird. Like they want to get engaged at Porch Swing Angel, and then you play Put Me in My Place, and then it's a bar brawl.
Somebody grab somebody.
Yeah, it's just like, so. I mean, nothing too insane. Besides a couple fights and, you know, an engagement. We actually, funny story. We were in Memphis a couple weeks ago, and this couple, we always have like couples reach out, and our guys like, hey dude, I want to propose to my girl to this.
Right.
We're like, okay, like let's make this happen. Like, we'll be your favorite band forever if we do this. So like, you know, come on here, we'll make this a special thing. Well, there was actually another couple in the crowd, and they proposed, but right before this group that was on stage proposed. So it's like, yeah, it was like weird. It's like one of the couples got like this really cool thing, and then the other ones were just in the crowd, and we like kind of felt like, okay, this is kind of weird. So it was like at the same time too. It's very
wow.
Yeah. So.
Oh wow. It's cool. If somebody was to go to the website, Muscadine Bloodline.
It's a hard one. I'm sorry.
No. My inner ears sometimes it echoes back on me. Yeah. But Muscadine Bloodline, if somebody was to go to the website right now, what would they find?
Man, anything and everything, really. You find the social media, you'll find tour dates, you'll find everything, man.
Yeah. We actually are revamping our merch store in the process right now, and we got some new merch coming out, and it's slick stuff, and so we're really looking forward to that, and we're getting that out there right before that Black Friday comes out, you know, so have some deals for the people.
Is there really a Black Friday now? I mean, I'm reading something on the air today saying the Black Friday sale starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, who goes in person anymore? You know,
I mean, my next door neighbor.
You have a point, Charlie.
I mean, people just move quick. Like my next door neighbor had they had a 12-foot Grim Reaper in the front yard, and then the next day they had a snow globe. So it's just
my neighborhood. That's my neighborhood.
I take it back. We're not doing Black Friday. We're doing the Cyber Monday drop.
There you go. We're moving. Yeah, exactly.
Let's just do that instead.
Exactly. But Charlie, you're right. I mean, how many people actually? Well, my wife has to go. I mean, she wants to feel what she's buying, see what she's buying, and all that. But still, I'm all for local business. Don't get me wrong. But when I can sit home in my boxers and a t-shirt and order my Christmas gifts and have them arrive within a day nowadays.
I agree. I mean, I'm a big supporter of local business too, like especially local restaurants.
Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
But there are certain things that because of the convenience, like, heck yeah, I'll order it off Amazon. Like I'm not afraid to grab like my wife and I need some AAA batteries. Okay, well, let me just hit them up on Amazon, Right,
exactly. Well, everything I'm doing here is, just all my equipment's been bought online. So
yeah, it's all get it how you live, Skip.
Sweetwater, baby.
Yep, B&H, Sweetwater. I'm trying to think. Oh, BSW Broadcast Electronics.
Are you shouting your sponsors right now, Skip?
I wish I had sponsors. I like you. This is something we have in common. I do everything myself.
There you go.
I do it. I got the radio thing, but this podcast thing, this is all my doing that I tie in with my radio, but still, it's all my own doing. I'll decide who I'm going to talk to. I'll decide what I'm going to do. It's almost the same thing. So
yeah, it's pretty contagious. Once you start figuring it out yourself, it's like, it's definitely a little bit harder, but it's a lot more rewarding too.
And the one thing I do have is that everybody that comes on the podcast, they always get a Skip Happens mug. So,
heck yeah. I'm a coffee guy. I can't wait to drink out of it.
Really? Well, when we click off, I'll just get what I need to get from you and we'll send them out to you. But I do want to say thank you. Thank you for coming on tonight. Thank you for chatting. I can't wait to meet you guys. Hopefully I'll be in Nashville in February. And
we should be around. We'll around. Just link up.
What's in February is that country radio seminar, which is a cool deal. Yeah. So have you guys ever have you taken in the country radio seminar at all?
But when I first moved up here, I've been to it once, but that's really it. This is actually like the first time we've hired like a radio team. Like this, really, because honestly, we couldn't afford it.
No, I hear you. I totally get it.
Just pressing TuneCore to go, uploading our songs to ourselves, and so now we're getting these points. It's like, okay, how do we make this bigger? And it's like the power of radio is, so great. So it's like, okay, let's hire a team. Let's give this a shot and see what we can do.
Exactly. We are Deb, who is there now, and I'm here, but together we are planning. Because of the radio thing, I do the country radio seminar every year, but we're going to be doing the Skip Happens podcast from there as well. So we're getting artists lined up and stuff and kind of set up a day to come by and we do like a 30-minute interview and live from Nashville. So it's cool. Well, we'll talk about that.
We'd love to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey guys, it's pretty awesome. Thank you for joining us here tonight on Skip Happens. Your music is great and hopefully our viewers and our listeners can go to muscadinebloodline.com and find out more about you. You're all over social media, correct?
Yeah, we're all.
I mean, Spotify. If somebody wanted to listen to your music, they can go to
anything.
We're anything and everything, baby.
We're on Tidal. We're on
all over it.
I gotta ask. I have to ask. Are you watching your numbers? Are you watching your numbers on Spotify?
I will say this. I do like it, but I have to watch myself because it's a slippery slope because you'll be like, dude, we just dropped 1,000 monthly listeners and we have 1.2 million, and so it's just like, okay, it's not really a big deal. So let's not stress over this, and I'm that guy. So don't get this is I'm glass half empty and he's glass half full. So like I said, it's that yin and yang thing. We do that pretty well.
I love it. You guys are awesome. Keep doing what you're doing, and we're playing the music. So, so wait a minute. Before I say goodbye, the first time, have you heard your song on the radio?
We've heard it a couple of times before, but we never get tired of it. I'll tell you that.
And what was that feeling? I guess maybe this is a really stupid question. How did you feel when you first heard it on the radio?
It's weird.
It's a fun thing. Like it's something you grew up listening to songs on the radio. You never think you're gonna hear your own dang song on the radio. So when you finally get that opportunity, you get that chance, it's pretty surreal.
It's coming through that FM frequency, and a guy like Skip's on there going, "Here's the new one from Muscadine Bloodline."
Muscadine Bloodline, dying for a living.
You got to have that
92.1 The Wolf.
Voice. You got the voice.
No, I don't know about that. I've been doing this too long. Anyways. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Hang on a line when we say goodbye here. I'll get what I need to get from you and send you out mugs. So it's a Muscadine Bloodline, everybody. Make sure you check them out. Check out the new single, Dying for a Living. You can hear it on the Wolf here in Syracuse. Definitely, these guys got a great future ahead of them, and they're doing their own thing, which is really cool, too. I'm not putting anything else down. I just like the fact that you're doing it by yourself, too. Does that make sense? I don't even know if that made any sense.
It made sense to us.
Hey, everybody listening, make sure to leave a good review on the Skip Happens podcast. Because he's out here busting it doing himself too.
That's right. That's right. You can go to Skip Happens on YouTube and subscribe. You can follow us on the Skip Happens podcast page. And also I have my own Facebook page, but they're all connected. Everything's connected. You know how that goes. It's all connected. Hey, guys, have a great night. Thanks for joining us here tonight. Peace out. Be good.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, man.